This is a simple little dish of potatoes, some nice chard, cottage cheese that I'm going to flavour with a little piece of horseradish. And the chard, again, these beautiful red leaves on it, is a good indicator that it's very, very good and very packed with antioxidants, a great combative vegetable for oxidative stress. The horseradish giving a lovely distinct flavour, but it's the cottage cheese I really wanted to focus on here for a moment. Now, cottage cheese is a lovely little option every now and again in an anti-inflammatory diet. It's very, very high in protein. Now, the cottage cheese I tend to buy for myself is the low VAT version. And also, if at all possible, try to get a lower sodium version. That can be a problem with a number of cheeses is sodium. And again, quite a number of people have hypertension or high blood pressure, and that sodium content is not going to do you any favors. But if you can get a low sodium, low fat cottage cheese, it is a really wonderful source of protein. And a protein is such an important nutrient for combating arthritis in particular, because without those strong muscles, then it's going to be a little bit tricky to, reinforce your joints. So protein sources and looking at a nice diverse range of protein sources in your diet is very, very important. Other parts with cottage cheese, it's a good calcium source. And again, very, very important. It can be, if you can get an active cottage cheese, it can be a very good source of probiotics. So cottage cheese, in particular from a protein point of view, just watch the old sodium levels in it a little bit, but it's a good addition and a very useful, versatile ingredient, one that we should be maybe looking a little bit more closely at. So I'm going to just get on with cooking this dish now. First, with this dish, in some very, very lightly salted water, add your potatoes. I've kept the skin on the potatoes, I've roughly cut them up, and that's really just to cook them a little bit faster. When your potatoes are cooked, nice and tender, we'll just drain those off. So my potatoes are just drained off, and now I'm just going to give them a little bit of a smash. But as I'm smashing them, I'm going to get my horseradish. Now, I've just grated some horseradish. I have about a tablespoon here. I'd recommend you use about a teaspoon. Add a little more if you like it, because it can be quite potent. But into my potatoes now, I'm going to add my horseradish and a little drop, about 20 ml of olive oil. And just mix those around. I had cooked the potatoes in some lightly salted water, but you can just adjust your seasoning here a little bit as well. And next up, I'm going to get my chard. Now, I've just chopped up my chard just a little bit, very roughly, and I'm going to pop all that in there now. Now, this is a baby chard, so there's no cooking to this at all. I'm just going to allow that chard just to wilt into the potatoes. Just going to cover it up for a second and let it to wilt. So as my chard wilts down a little bit, I'm just going to smash in my potatoes together. In Ireland here, we'd call this kind of a champ. Just roughly crush the potatoes, not a puree potatoes. If your taste desires it, add a little bit more olive oil as well if you'd like to enrich it a bit. And just adjust the seasoning to your own taste. And you'll get this delicious horseradish flavour through these potatoes. And that's all ready to go now, this lovely little potato champ. To serve this dish, just into a nice suitable little bowl. I'm just going to add a few spoonfuls of my nice little potato, which is a lovely deep flavour of horseradish now in it, and the chard. And then into that, I'm going to just, on top, add my cottage cheese. Just kind of let it spread around, fall around the dish nice and liberally. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of black pepper on that, and a little drizzle of extra olive oil. And there we have it. A nice cottage cheese, horseradish, a nice potato with chard flavoured with horseradish and topped with some lovely cottage cheese and just a little drizzle of olive oil. So you got your proteins, you got your vegetables, lovely anti-inflammatory, good high protein dish. Enjoy.